Tonight on Reporting Scotland, the end of his glittering career has prompted an outpouring of tributes, and he's been sitting down with another Scot who knows a thing or two about life at the top.
Moment from the Olympic Games, if you could think of one particular snapshot of time.
Apart from a Chris Hoy medal. And
no, your own. I mean, your own performance.
Yeah, it would have to be.
I'll take that.
Also in tonight's programme, after riots in England after the Southport murders, the Justice Secretary says police here are closely monitoring the situation.
Do a little dance, make a little love, get down tonight, get down tonight.
KC and the Sunshine Band are bringing the weather as Edinburgh hosts the Fringe, the world's largest arts festival. Hello, I'm Sally Magnuson. Welcome to Friday's programme. So that's it. Yesterday evening, one of Scotland's greatest sportsmen really did retire. After keeping us on tenterhooks to the very last minute, Andy Murray and his doubles partner Dan Evans were knocked out of the Olympic tennis quarter-finals. And Murray waved goodbye to the public who'd been following his progress for 20 years, most of the time with heart in mouth. Today, as Aileen Clark reports, the tributes flooded in.
Getting behind me, and yeah, I'll miss you all, but yeah, thanks for the support.
And some of his closest friends and rivals keen to add their support.
One of the players that the locker room love the most for your character, for your charisma, and for the way that you have been always with me personally and with the rest of the players.
So Sir Andy Murray, incredible effort on the most wonderful of careers. Great human being and doing it all with a massive family at the end and a hip.
You brought Wimbledon title to Britain and to UK after 77 years, unfortunately against me in the finals, but you know, it was quite a special historic moment that I cherished, that I was really grateful to be part of.
His mum Judy in Paris this week, and there from the day he picked up his very first racket, reflected on social media how far he's come. Andy was quickly onto social media himself, changing his status to "I played tennis," and then joking, "Never even liked tennis anyway."
So this is my mum and I in Paris on Tuesday.
Lorna Kennedy from Peterhead has been following his career for the last 20 years, all round the world. She's camped for Wimbledon tickets, she's cheered at the Davis Cup, and she has special memories of this moment in Montreal.
It's one of my favourite stories from my whole life, you know, being right there with him. That was the tournament he became #2 in the world. And, you know, he's right there in front of you and taking a photo with you, putting his arm around your shoulder. It was something special.
Warrior position.
And you can see his influence amongst the youngsters in tennis clubs across the country, like here in Drumchapel in Glasgow.
Not many people from Scotland always make a really good at sports, but he's the world's best tennis player in my opinion, and I think he's inspired lots of young minds like me.
He was the best player of tennis.
Would you like to play tennis like him?
Yes.
Are you practicing hard?
Yes.
So boys and girls, what do you want to say to Andy Murray?
You're the greatest, Andy!
Earlier today, Sir Andy sat down with another Scottish sporting great, Sir Chris Hoy, to talk about his career and what he'll do next.
A truly remarkable career.
Thank you.
How does it feel on your first morning as a retired athlete waking up? What was it like this morning?
I feel good. I mean, I slept terribly last night, only got a few hours sleep, but I was ready to finish playing, and yeah, a few months ago I was worried about it. I was quite unsure about, you know, how it would feel or if it was the right time. It's difficult, I think, for athletes when they're coming to the end, you know, to know. But yeah, it felt right and I feel good about it.
How did you know it was the right time? Was it your choice, or was it your body basically waving the white flag and saying you're going to have to stop soon?
It was a combination of both. About 18 months ago, I had spoken to my family and said that I want to have a time for when I'm going to stop, because otherwise I could just keep going and going. And I said, maybe next summer, like after the Olympics, would be a good time for me. When I had to have the operation on my back before Wimbledon, it was a bit of my body telling me, but also, I felt like it was the right time. Physically it was getting really hard for me, and wasn't really able to train to the level that I needed to. That was ultimately why I made the choice.
What makes the Olympics so special for you?
The Olympics is, for me, it's the best. It's the best sporting event, being around all of the best athletes in the world across, so many different sports. Yeah, I've been lucky to obviously perform really well in some of them and had, great results.
Standout moment from the Olympic Games, if you could think of one particular snapshot of time.
Apart from a Chris Hoy medal. And
no, your own. I mean, your own performance.
it would have to be.
I'll take that.
Yeah, it has to be London. A gold medal against Federer at Wimbledon. I mean, it wasn't necessarily going to get much better than that for me.
Of course, you're a father now. You've got 4 kids. What are you looking forward to the most in retirement?
Well, we're going away on holiday during the US Open. In a few weeks we're going to Spain. We went away to Greece a few weeks ago, and doing things like that, like having experiences with the family that I've not at times been able to do because of the tennis, and yeah, just being at home with them and getting to do normal things.
Great stuff. Well, listen, I know that Olympic medals are nice to have, but the real thing you want as a pin badge collector is there's some BBC Sport Olympic Paris 2024 badges for you and the kids.
I've got so many badges now. Everyone's just dishing them out to me. So
you've become quite famous for your pin collecting.
I appreciate that.
There's a few more.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thanks for
Andy.
that.
And Chris joins us now from Paris. Chris, quite a few commentators last night were a bit tearful as Murray departed. I wonder what you feel it is about him that'll make him so affectionately remembered as a sportsman.
Well, Sally, I think everyone will have their own individual memories of Andy Murray's career, but what I found so telling today in all of the tributes that have been pouring in is that so many people have been talking about Murray the man rather than just Murray the sportsman, and I think that's exactly the reason that he will be set aside as a Scottish sporting icon rather than just a sporting hero. Yes, he got to the very top of his game doing what he loves, but it was the manner that he got there, I think, that inspired so many. That desire, the determination, the never say die attitude. Also the vulnerability at times. He was never shy in showing his emotion, and of course we remember that self-deprecating Scottish humour. Yes, Scots will mourn the loss of Murray the competitor for a while, but for a long time Scotland will celebrate Murray the man.
Thank you very much indeed. Scotland's Justice Secretary says police here are monitoring the situation closely after far-right protests in England in the wake of the Southport stabbings. Police in England, Wales and Northern Ireland are bracing themselves for further disorder this weekend. Our political correspondent Andrew Kerr joins me now. Andrew, a lot of concern about these developments.
Yes, that's right, Sally. Several protests will be held this weekend, with some advertised online as enough is enough. Now, that violent disorder was triggered after the Southport knife attack, which left 3 young girls dead. Now, at least 15 possible demos have been identified in England, Wales and Northern Ireland. Now, intelligence would suggest that nothing similar is planned for Scotland this weekend. The Justice Secretary has been telling us that Police Scotland is monitoring the situation closely, and she's received a briefing on the issue from the Chief Constable.
People should be reassured that Police Scotland remain in constant contact with policing partners across the UK. There, as always, is excellent communication, and the police will also reach out to vulnerable communities who may be concerned.
And that is an important point about reassuring communities, isn't it?
It is a key point, Sally, about those vulnerable communities, because we know, for instance, that a march is planned on a mosque in Belfast this weekend, for instance. Now, the far-right activist Tommy Robinson has posted about a rally in Glasgow next month in the city's George Square. His real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon. Now, the City Council leader said that he was not welcome in Glasgow, but he posted today on social media in very strong language that he would go where he wanted to go. Now, that's next month, Sally, but of course, police keeping a very close eye on any developments this weekend.
Andrew, thank you very much. Some of the day's other stories now. Delivery of the long-delayed and over-budget Glen Sannox ferry to Calmac has been put back by another 5 weeks. Ferguson Shipyard has confirmed it won't be handed over until the end of September at the earliest. There was no update on costs. The ship and its sister vessel, the Glen Rosa, were due for delivery in 2018, but they've faced repeated design and construction challenges. The Scottish Conservative Deputy Leader, Megan Gallagher, has become the latest MSP to confirm she's running to succeed Douglas Ross. She joins 2 others, Holyrood Justice spokesman Russell Findlay and Brian Whittle. The new leader will be in place by the end of September. Edinburgh's festival season gets underway today with both the International Festival and the Fringe starting up. Despite rising costs and a squeeze on accommodation, thousands of performers have converged on the capital from across the world, as our arts correspondent Pauline McLean reports.
Do a little dance, make a little love.
Sunshine isn't a given in Edinburgh at festival time, but it's bound to shine on a new show dedicated to the legendary Casey and the Sunshine Band. And yes, that is Casey himself offering a little bit of backing.
They're premiering my musical, Who Do You Love? That I'm really excited about. It's about me and 3 of my friends growing up in Miami before all of the success, but it's 30 songs that I wrote, the classics and a few new ones, and I'm just really, it's just a dream come true.
The Fringe remains an important platform for shows. 6, Hamilton, Fleabag and Baby Reindeer all started off here. But the last few years have been tough. COVID, cost of living and a squeeze on affordable accommodation have made it harder than ever to get here.
It's not just a festival, it's a performing arts marketplace. So you need to know, do I want a producer? Do I want to have a tour? Do I want to get onto screen and to come and be quite single-minded about how you approach that and really only come if you're ready.
For many groups, that's part of the challenge. In 1974, Strathclyde Theatre Group brought this epic production to the Fringe. Tickets were just 60 pence each, and it cost double the £3,000 estimate. But 50 years on, they still believe it was worth it.
Everyone who worked on it felt challenged in a good way. And as I say, many people went on to do great things afterwards, not just in the theatre, but just because it said to them, you can do this, and you know, a 20-year-old, 24-year-old can do things and can make a difference.
And that huge ambition can be found across all of Edinburgh's festivals. This, the curtain raiser for the International Festival, a spectacular story told across the city's skyline.
And Pauline has found a rare, quiet place in Edinburgh to talk to us. Quite a feat, Pauline. The International Festival also starting tonight, and there are worries there too, aren't there, about sustainability?
Absolutely, and a quiet place, but not for long. You know, give it a couple of hours, and the first of 10,000 people will be coming through here over 3 nights to see this opening spectacular event of the International Festival. And they've already had, the odd challenge right from the start. We've had power cuts across central Edinburgh today, which have affected many places, including many of the venues. And here, they lost power for a bit. Thankfully, all resolved and all ready to go again, and most of those Fringe shows back on. But I guess it's a reminder of all the things that, short-term things that need to be kept on top of, but also longer-term, that sort of sustainability. And you sort of look at it and you realise it's quite a fragile economy, all of this. They can do amazing things given the resources, but it's only 4 years since we were talking about the fact there was nothing here at all, and it's been built back up again. And I guess the message is these kind of giant, big-scale events can happen, but they need the sponsorship, they need the resources, they need the support, and it's a reminder that all of that is pretty fragile and it needs to continue.
Thanks very much, Pauline. Pauline McLean there in Edinburgh.
Football, and on the eve of the new Premiership season, Rangers manager Philippe Clement has signed a contract extension until 2028. The 50-year-old Belgian joined the Ibrox side in October, winning the League Cup and finishing as runner-up in the Premiership and Scottish Cup. He said he's fallen in love with the club, its fans and with Glasgow.
And I feel good here. I love this place, I love this club, I love the city, I love the fans, I love the atmosphere in Ibrox, or the fans who are in the away games. So it was my feeling also to do it longer term and not to sit and wait until something more interesting comes in my mind. No, I really want to give all my best every second for this club because I love to be here.
So the new season is upon us and Rangers are first up tomorrow against Hearts. There are 3 games on Sunday, including the defending champions Celtic at home, where they'll celebrate last season's success. And then we have 1 game on Monday night as well. One team riding high into the weekend is St Mirren after they got through their European qualifier last night in some style. 4 goals on the night put the Buddies well clear of their Icelandic opponents. Manager Stephen Robinson says his side are full of confidence with some key players returning from injury.
To have 4 strikers now, and James Scott's coming back to form and confidence again as well. We've got those boys that, you know, I could take 2 out, put 2 in, which gives me a real selection headache, but a good thing with the amount of games we've got coming up. And Jonah's, as you rightly said, Jonah is the best he's played in a long, long time. You know, you can see he's coming to fitness now, confidence, strength is back again, and it does take time after a cruciate knee ligament injury to come back to your best.
One of the league's newest managers says he's settling in well to life and looking forward to the new season. Ahead of his side's visit to St Johnstone on Monday, Aberdeen boss Jimmy Tulin says he feels he has the support of the fans and the club.
I have amazing support from the staff here, how they help me and settle in, and also everything around the city. The away games, the fans, is going to be, I think, a big away support also on Monday. So I think it can't be better. I'm really, really happy.
Quite incredible just how quickly the new Premiership season has come round, Sally, isn't it?
That means autumn to me, isn't it?
I know. And of course, as always, coverage across the BBC all weekend.
Absolutely. Thanks very much. Now it's over to Laura Goodwin to find out what's happening on BBC Scotland at 7 o'clock.
Coming up, we'll have more on the controversies surrounding women's boxing at the Olympics. Also tonight, 3 prisoners released under a deal between the USA and Russia are back on American soil. And we'll have an extended version of that interview with Andy Murray. We'll see you at 7.
In the meantime, let's go to Gillian, see what the weather's up to. Oh, lovely.
I know we had some sunshine around today, Sally, but it's been clouding over, a spell of rain to come for all of us tonight and a bit of a mixed weekend. Good evening to you. Yes, we did have some sunshine around today, but we've seen increasing amounts of cloud and outbreaks of rain. As we head into the weekend, tomorrow's looking like sunshine and showers and a cooler feel than we've had of late. And then for Sunday, a good deal of dry weather, but then blustery winds and outbreaks of rain for Western Scotland later in the day. For the here and now, we have this frontal system working its way eastwards across the country. That's what's bringing outbreaks of rain. It's a fairly narrow band. It becomes confined to Shetland overnight, and behind that, clear skies, just a scattering of showers following into the northwest. Could be a few cool spots in the Highlands and the northeast, but for the most part, about 8 to 11 Celsius, the lows tonight. Tomorrow we start the day with plenty of sunshine. That early rain soon clearing Shetland to leave sunshine here as well. But we'll have that scattering of showers in the northwest pretty much from the word go. And as the day goes on, we'll see cloud bubbling up more widely and a scattering of showers breaking out. Some of them will be on the heavy side. If we take a closer look around about 3 o'clock, relatively few showers for southern Scotland and the central belt. Some decent sunny spells, though temperatures down on where they have been, 15, 16, 17 Celsius. The main focus of those showers will be over northern Argyll, the Western Isles, the northwest Highlands, and into the afternoon, northeast Scotland as well. And again, some of them could be on the heavy side. Good sunny spells coming through for the Northern Isles, though again, temperatures down on where they have been for most of us. And across the tops tomorrow, I think you won't we'll notice that cooler feel. For eastern ranges in the morning, that's when we'll see the best of the sunshine. Then those showers starting to develop. There will be showers from the outset in the northwest. Again, some of them potentially heavy and quite a cool feel across the tops. Those showers lasting into tomorrow evening, still heavy ones for a time, and then they'll tend to fade, leaving drier, clearer conditions. And that's how we'll start the day on Sunday with a lot of dry weather, but something different to come with this next area of low pressure and its associated frontal system set to bring outbreaks of rain later. So we start largely dry. Northeast Scotland hanging on to the best of the sunshine, and I think for the Northern Isles staying fine and sunny for most of the day. But elsewhere, thickening cloud bringing a few pockets of light rain and drizzle through the day, and then towards evening this band of persistent rain moving into the west coast, accompanied by strengthening winds. It will end up quite blustery and unsettled for Monday as well, with low pressure close by. There'll be some showers and some longer spells of rain. Some of that could be heavy. That's the forecast. Sally.
Oh well, thank you very much, Gillian. Now tonight's main news again. Tributes have flooded in for Andy Murray as he officially retires from playing professional tennis after he and his doubles partner Dan Evans were knocked out of the Paris Olympics last night. The Justice Secretary says police here are monitoring the situation following far-right protests in England in the wake of the Southport stabbings. Police in other parts of the UK are bracing themselves for further disorder. Suzanne Allen will be here with your late news around 10:30 tonight. But from us, enjoy your evening. Bye-bye.